everybody, it's Rebecca here at Why Mermaids. Last week, I asked you to send me your questions because I hit 1,000 subscribers. So today and Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to be answering all of your questions. Now, in order to do it justice and to legitimately answer all of your questions, I decided I'm gonna split this up into 3 different videos. That's a lot. That's a lot. You guys had a lot of really good questions for me and I didn't want to leave any of them out. So I decided to do it that way. So today are going to be all the questions that are book related. So today's the book related questions. Tuesday, tomorrow, is going to be all the questions related to booktube or booktubing. And then Wednesday's Top 5 Wednesday, and then so Thursday will be all of the questions that are more personal. So stay tuned all week this week to see the answer to your questions. So in order to make it short, let's just get going today. The first question is from Mari and Ali, and it's, what one book would you save if your bookshelf caught on fire? Well, I did answer this in a Top 5 Wednesday ages and ages ago, but since it is now the summer, I brought home some books from school, so my answer is different, ha 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 ha, and it is my very first ever edition of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that I got when I was 12, and as you can see, my mom took it to school at one point and put her last name all over it, and it ruined it. Gosh. So anyway, so yeah, this one is, I'd have to save it because has so many memories for me, even when I smell it, it just smells like I'm 12 years old again. So I'd save this one. Number 2 is from Dylan the Booktuber, and he asked, if you had to choose, would you read young adult or adult books all the time? I would choose adult books. I like reading young adult, I like reading YA, but I find that I get into time periods where it's too much YA at a time, and I'm I just can't do it, and I have to jump to adult where stories make a little bit more sense and are fleshed out a little bit more than in YA. So and plus I'm kind of too old for some of the teenage drama in a way, so I enjoy it, but I do get a little tired of it, so I would have to go adult. The Book Fox decided to ask me about if I were to write a book, basically, what would it be about? What would be the genre? What would be the plot, characters, things like that? I am actually writing 3 books at the moment. I'm writing a memoir based on my time when I lived in LA, and I'm writing 2 kind of sci-fi fantasy-ish books that I started for NaNoWriMo of 2 different years. One of them is adult, one of them is YA. They both have male protagonists, and I'm not going to tell you the plot because I don't want you to steal it. Pucks and Paperbacks asked me if I could be stranded on a deserted island with any fictional character, who would it be? I chose Peter Pan because Peter Pan could fly me away from that deserted island. Wish Fulfillment asked me what was the last book I read that made me cry or made me unbelievably sad. The last book that made me cry was, I think, Love Saves the Day, which is about, it's a book from a cat's perspective, because duh. And I also was really torn up by Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock, so that made me kind of that was the unbelievably sad. I didn't cry, but I almost did, and it made me really broken inside a little bit there. Katrina Topes asked if I could only read standalones or series, which one would I choose? I think this was tough. I think I'm gonna go with series because Harry Potter is a series, and Lord of the Rings and Percy Jackson and Darker Shade of Magic, they're all series, and so I feel like I would have to go series, but then I'd be missing out on so many good standalones like The Night Circus, Ready Player One. This is a tough one. It's a tough one. Little Library asked if I could switch places with any character from Harry Potter for a day, who would I choose? I would choose Hermione because I love Hermione, and that would be really fun. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like it'd be really cool to be a lot of the characters. It'd be really fun to be Fred and George, or Peeves. That would be really cool too. Or Hagrid, because you get to hang out with all the animals. But I can't answer a question about Harry Potter characters and like not say Hermione. Cause I feel like I would want to be her. So, yeah. Sanjeev Kushwaha. I'm really sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that. But he asked me, what is the longest book I've ever read and how long did it take me? So the answer to that, the longest book that I've ever read is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, which, not including the appendices at the end, is 1,128 pages of teeny tiny little text. Ooh. And this took me, I think, like 21, I counted it, like, based on Goodreads, and it took me 21 days to read it. It's a chunker. It's a chunker. And they're all pretty chunky, but this is the chunkiest one so far. So you know. Miss Jeffers 2010 asked me what book world would I want to live in, and the answer to that is Harry Potter. I want to go to Hogwarts, man. Yeah. She also asked me, why do I read? And I read because reading kind of lets me live all these different lives and escape, and it's a really great pastime. It helps you learn more and be more intelligent, and I really love reading. I love getting thrown into these stories with these different characters, and I just love it. And then she asked what book got me into reading. I don't know. I read a lot as a kid. I've kind of grown up reading. So, I mean, the Berenstain Bears, I was obsessed with those as a kid. Like, I'd go to the store and pick out all the new ones. You know, when I was older, I read Goosebumps and Animorphs a lot. Harry Potter, obviously, was a big part of my life. I've been reading all the time. Reading. Giselle Luna asked if you could redesign the cover of one of your favorite books, what would it look like? I really like minimalist covers, so I would choose like any of these. I'll put some examples up of anything, really. I mean, Harry Potter, Peter Pan, Anne of Green Gables, everything. I love minimalist designs. I think it just, something about it I just really like. Our Bookish Obsession asked, how do you decide what to read next? TBR, strict TBR, or mood reading? And I am a mood reader. I don't like to have a TBR because then I feel like I'm forced to read a book. And sometimes if I'm not in the mood to read it, then it doesn't make me enjoy it. And so I have to be able to put a book down and come back to it another time, or like I have to be in the right mood to read it. So I am a mood reader. But that being said, I do have certain books that I want to get to at a certain time, especially I'm doing the Year of Gaiman this year, where I'm doing one Neil Gaiman novel every month for the entire year except for July. There's more information down below. And so I have to read whatever book I have set out for that month. So I have that as a TBR, and like buddy reads will be part of a TBR, but generally I kind of pick and choose when I want to read things. And that makes me enjoy them more. And finally, Marissa Junker asked me 2 questions. She asked me, what Hogwarts house am I? And I am a Gryffindor all the way. Although some quizzes say that I'm like slightly Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw, but the predominant answer and the Pottermore answer is definitely a Gryffindor. And I'm gonna own it. So, yeah. And then she asked me who is my favorite Game of Thrones character. I have a 3-way tie for first place between Tyrion, Arya, and Jon Snow. I mean, I like Daenerys too, but Daenerys kind of like, some of her scenes are really boring right now, and I'm just not a fan. So the other 3, and then Daenerys is like right underneath. Yeah. Well, that is it today for part 1 of my 3-part Q&A. Stay tuned tomorrow for part 2, where I answer all of your BookTube related questions. And that is it for me today. I'll see you tomorrow.